All right, let's look at the homework 1.5, problem number 9. All right, so let's simplify these expressions involving arc-trig functions. All right, so part A. All right, so I'm going to call this entire thing theta, just to so that we can simplify it. All right. So, one thing we should notice is that since theta is the arcsine value, arcsine only can have a value between negative pi over 2 to positive pi over 2. So just to keep in mind that the theta is between negative pi over 2 and then positive pi over 2, right? So we want to get rid of this arc sign, then maybe write it in terms of the regular sign, right? So we can simplify, so we can apply sine to both sides, right? So then you're going to have, it's going to be simply sine of 3 pi over 4 is equal to, right? So sine and arcsine cancel out because they are inverses of each other, right? Then you have a sine of theta, right? So visually, sine of 3 pi over 4, we can do the number line, not the number line, the unit circle, right? So say here's a x, here is a y-axis, and here's the origin. And then we draw a unit circle, right? Circle centered at the origin, and then radius is 1, right? So here's 1 here, negative 1 here, negative 1 there, and then positive 1 there, right? So sine of 3 pi over 4, so we can have a value, let's see, 3 pi over 4 is, so this is going to be pi over 4 and 2 pi over 4, 3 pi over 4. So this is 3 pi over 4. And then this is going to go like right up here, right? And then the value here, right here, right? This value right there is a sine of 3 pi over 4, right? But unfortunately, theta cannot be equal to 3 pi over 4. Remember that the theta is between negative pi over 2 and pi over 2. And then, but we have to get the same sine value. So what you can do is you can actually go this way, right? It's got the same sine value, but the angle is, we can look at this angle instead, right? So this guy right here, this is going to be simply pi over 4, right? So angle here is going to be pi over 4. So if you put pi over 4, it's going to have exactly the same value as sine of 3 pi over 4, right? So answer is pi over 4. All right, so let's type it in. All right, so we have pi over 4. All right, let's check the answer. All right, it came back and looks like we got part A correctly. All right, next, what we're going to do is, again, when you see arc sine, then we're going to call it theta. So you have, I'm going to let theta be sine, arc sine, sorry, of 12 over 13, right? Then if you've done that, then we can, apply sine to both sides. So we can rewrite it as the sine, original sine of theta is equal to 12 over 3, right? So we can draw a right triangle based on this ratio. So if you draw a right triangle, right, just kind of a generic right triangle here, and then angle here is, let's say, theta, right? Right, since sine, the definition of sine is opposite over hypotenuse, so we can set opposite to be 12. So I'm going to put the 12 here because that's the opposite. and the hypotenuse is here, so we can set the hypotenuse to be 13. All right, so this is the hypotenuse here, and this is the opposite here. All right, and then adjacent here can be found by doing using the Pythagorean theorem. So this is going to be a square root of 13 squared minus 12 squared, right? All right, so this is going to be what? It's a square root of 13 squared is 169, and 12 squared would be 144. Right, so this is going to be square root of 25, which is going to be 5. Right, so if you we are looking for so cosine of 2 theta, right? And then we can use the trig identity. Cosine of 2 theta is 2 cosine squared of theta minus 1, right? And we can easily find the cosine square value, cosine theta value. Cosine of theta is by definition adjacent over hypotenuse, right? But the adjacent in this case came out to be 5, and the hypotenuse is 13. So we have cosine of theta value. So we can just plug it in. All right, so this is going to be 2 times. Cosine came out to be 5 over 13 and squared minus 1. So this is going to be 2 times, right? 13 squared would be 169, and 5 squared would be 25. And then we subtract 1 from there. So this is going to be 2 times 25 is 50, and over 169, and then minus 1 is 169 over 169. So this is going to be negative 119 over 169. All right, so let's type it in. So 119 over 169 with the negative sign. All right, so we have negative 119 over 169. All right, let's check the answer. All right, I came back and looks like we got both of these guys correctly. All right, that's it. I hope that this was clear.